Never been to some of these spots we're hitting today. Myself, my wife Cynthia, Josh, Suri, who's a great friend of mine from 50 years ago. It's a wonderful tour. You'll enjoy it, I guarantee it. And by the way, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you see fit, and write your comment. Anybody from my hometown, I'd love your comment, and otherwise, please be free to comment down below and subscribe. All right, here we go. Yeah, but I'm still, yeah, that's all right. Here we are now. And of course, I think aside from the silk and the huge mills, this is one of the wonders of the world right here. I mean, you have the Great Falls of Paterson. And here's what I'm embarrassed about. And Josh, I don't know about you. I have never been here before.
I have. I have. So much so that my wife's has heard so much about the falls that she actually brought her mother here. And I said, listen, this is a very, very important historic place for Paterson. And I think there's a statue of Alexander Hamilton behind us.
That's right.
We can look at that later. But this is where it all started. I mean, we had this old dusty town that wasn't doing much, and it was basically designed, the Industrial Revolution part of the town, its history, was basically designed around the Great Falls, you know, to provide all this hydropower, this water power for the mills that lined all these streets. I don't know exactly how they did that, but I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, we tried to come down over the weekend, maybe 3 weeks ago, jam-packed, no spaces anywhere to be had. So we gave up. But now, here we are, a weekday. It's beautiful. You want to walk down?
Sure, and hopefully we'll see the plaque that commemorates this as a national landmark.
Yeah. Go down these little steps.
Now, this is not where the plaque is. The plaque must be up there.
Yeah.
So we used to come here as little kids. My mom or my parents would bring us here, and we would stand right here and just look at the falls. And I don't know if you remember this. In the winter, the falls would freeze. Now, they didn't totally freeze, just sort of like the outside of it would freeze and water would be running underneath. But it would be a beautiful, beautiful view. Now, this is very, very low for what it usually is, meaning it's usually more water rushing down, very, very loud. Maybe we're in some sort of a drought period, but it's definitely not as heavy, robust as it usually is.
That building right there goes back.
Yes.
Boy, oh boy, is that old.
And I don't know, Ralph, I don't know if you can see, there's like an amphitheater here.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, you see the stone seating?
Yeah, Shakespeare would be good there.
Shakespeare in the park, yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, Ralph, do you remember this? The famous tightrope walker.
Was here.
That's right.
You know, now that you're saying it, I do remember. Now, how long does that go back?
Philippe something, yes. Oh my God, that's the mid-70s?
Yeah, I was going to say 75 or so.
Yeah, he strung a wire across the span of this, and he walked it. And we were here for that.
You came down?
Yep.
See, the thing was, this wasn't my territory for whatever reason. And people, you know how people don't visit within their own their city? For instance, New Yorkers have never seen the Statue of Liberty. I have never seen the Great Falls, and I'm a Patersonian, so that's my fault. I take responsibility. And again, we tried a couple of times, but we never got down here. Now, this perspective right here, all this right here, what do you think of what they did down here? Just an empty space.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's interesting because they have two names on the walls that we just talked about a second ago. So there's a quote from Allen Ginsberg.
There's the Ginsberg quote right there.
Right? The weight of the world is love. And then there's a mention of Alexander Hamilton, you know, clearly stating that he founded the city in 1792.
1792 it goes back. How do you like that? I never knew that, actually. I should have known that, but I don't. Hamilton's not buried in Paterson. He's buried in the Trinity Church in Lower Manhattan. So how do you figure? Why isn't Hamilton buried
I don't know.
in Paterson?
But I think his family was from, believe it or not, Jamaica.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I mean, they were
Rings a bell somehow.
they were settlers, English or British settlers there.
Wow.
You want to try walking up and then coming down? I'm curious to see how we do that.
Let's see from a different perspective.
So, like I said, neither one of us was living in this neighborhood, but we used to ride our bikes down here, walk down
You would
here.
ride down here?
Yeah, a little bit. Come down here with my parents to see the
Would you
falls.
say the mid-70s?
Maybe even earlier.
Oh, really?
Yes, 72, 73.
That makes you 12 years old on your own.
Right. Yes.
On a bicycle.
With friends.
And that's something else. Now, how do we get on the other?
I think it's over here.
Yeah, right.
So just so we can give the viewers, the listeners, some perspective, it's the falls area, and then as you go this way, you're going into downtown Paterson, right, Ralph?
Yeah, downtown Paris.
And if you went this way, you're going to Stony Hill.
Stony Hill. Stony Hill's the area around the firehouse and
Right.
Park, which I found out was Stony Hill just maybe 20 years ago. I never knew that.
And the famous Italian bakery, I think it was Bernardi's.
Bernardi's out of business maybe about 10 years, but was always there.
We had 2 or 3 famous Italian bakeries for bread anyway. Bernardi's, Lazara's, and I can't remember the third one.
Lazara's, we went for bread. Bernardi's for cake.
Oh, really?
There was another place.
Sorry, there it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Paterson Great Falls National Historical Park. And here's Alexander Hamilton.
Yep. Here's a better look at that amphitheater that we talked about, right to your right.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, they had a concert here within the last couple of years. It was part of maybe it was part of the celebration. Oh, this is a beautiful view of the falls from here. Now you can see the back end of it.
Really nice.
So you could see Hinchliffe Stadium in the distance up there.
That's right.
And
One of
then
our next stops.
that way was our neighborhood. So you walk or take a bike 5 minutes, if that, and you're on Turtle Ave, and then it's Kennedy High School,
That's right.
West Side Park.
That's right. Let's head down that way. Looks good.
Look at that. When you look back, it's even more impressive.
It's a great view right here. Isn't that beautiful?
Ralph,
Never stops.
this must have been some sort of water station or something.
Had to be. Yeah, that building is huge.
If I'm not mistaken, that clock has been there for decades.
And that clock precedes me and you.
Oh, yes.
And my father, who was born in 1960. Here's a little bit on no man will become a member of the community in which he could not enjoy the fruits of its honesty, labor, and industry. And who wrote that?
William
A guy named
Paterson.
William Paterson.
William Paterson was in the group that formed the Constitution, over 200 years ago.
1791.
Oh, so Ralph,
Yeah.
SUM stands for Society for Establishing Useful Manufacturers.
Okay. At least we know. These little reference tablets are good.
What a beautiful day it's turned out to be. This
Yeah.
is perfect.
Perfect for today. We get the best weather in September now.
Oh, I know. But by the way, so that everybody knows, this is part of the Passaic River, which starts up in the mountains of like Sussex County, I think,
so. Way
and
up
then leads back out.
Way up there. St. River, Sussex County. Remember that. I lived in Sussex County for a while.
Oh, that's right.
Along with the camera person.
There it is, 1791, like you said.
Yep. And what's great about it, it's open. You know, we're not paying a fee. We're not.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's open to the public. Everybody can enjoy it. Now, there's an old smokestack from one of the mills.
Yep. And they're always working on something. Always something to be done.
So this was, if I'm not mistaken, this is an important part of Paterson's restoration of the acknowledgement and the making of this area a national park, and then of Hinchcliffe as well. And you know, Paterson's trying to make a comeback in many ways. We talked about the art scene down when we were in the Chauncey Street area. Talked about the different foods and ethnicities. Talked about the historic landmarks. They're trying to make a comeback.
And I wonder if that art scene ever flew.
I don't know. We're gonna have to find out.
Because that's something I'm interested in. We have to check that out. How arty is Paterson in 2024?
So we're getting closer and closer to basically the entrance of our neighborhood.
Just to say, this side is really not much as I thought.
So,
A lot of construction out of this side.
so this is McBride Ave that leads to Stony Hill, right?
That's right. This is Stony Hill area when you get to that.
And Minardi's was on the right over here.
No, that was on Grand Street.
Oh, which is the one I'm thinking about that used to be here?
Libby's Hot Dogs.
I thought there was a
Libby's Hot Dogs is in that abandoned
the white building,
spot,
right? But I thought there wasn't a bread shop or a bakery on this side.
Not that I know of, because the other one.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
It's just it's a street over.
Right.
That's all. But yeah, Minardi's was pastry. There was another one that we used to go to for Sfugliadel's Italian pastry that my mother always enjoyed. What the heck was the name of it? It was downtown Paterson. I can't remember. But yeah. How many people go by here
A lot.
and don't realize the significance of what this is?
Most, I'd say.
Not even in the car. They walk by, they don't really realize
So,
significance.
Ralph, correct me if I'm wrong. This is, I think we're on the border of the Stony Hill section, the Totowa section, and the downtown section.
That's right. They actually call that the total section.
Right.
That's right. This is your downtown area, and this is Stony Hill. Right, we're at the crossroad right here. And you know that Libby's hot dog place that I mentioned was there for years and years and years. They just took that out maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
So the story is that someone bought it and they're trying to restore it either back to a hot dog stand or something similar.
Okay, and the other place that was similar, Falls View.
I lived at Falls View.
Did you? 3 all the way.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, French fries. It was amazing.
And you Colonial Grill.
That was on Chamberlain Ave. That's close to where you grew up.
That's by St. Gerard's Church. But the Falls View was the place
I loved it
for
there.
hot dogs with all that chili. Well, we called them all the way.
All the
hot
way.
dog all the way.
So it'd be something like this.
We were skinny kids. We had about 3 or 4.
So if I was the customer and you were behind the counter, and I'd say, "Let me have 3 hot dogs with mustard, chili, sauerkraut," and then you do
3 all the way, 3.
That's it.
And fries.
And
that
they'd
kind of-
wrap it up in this white craft paper
That's right.
with
That's right.
elastic bands.
Well, we used to order, believe it or not, from Falls View. They had a little thingo in my school. And at the end, maybe the 7th grade, the 8th grade, we used to order from Falls View. Somebody would come here and pick it up, big, huge order, bring it to the kids that paid. And we,
Really?
yeah, and probably for maybe 3 hot dogs. I never could eat 1 or 2. I had to have 3. 3 hot dogs and maybe a side of something. How much do you think it was in maybe 1973?
$2.75.
Just about. just about. About $2.75. Can you believe it? Well, here we are now. And again, Josh, this is, I think out of every place we were going to go, this may be the one that brings back the most memories, because I used to clank around in my baseball spikes right here, Hinchcliffe Stadium. What history behind this place, Josh?
This is another landmark, Ralph. I mean, this is the home of the Negro Leagues back in the
That's
30s,
right.
40s, and early 50s.
That's right. Josh Gibson played here.
That's right.
And Satchel Paige pitched here.
That's right.
And of course, Johnny Briggs, not in the Negro Leagues, but he played here with Kennedy, Eastside High School. My mother went to Central High School, by the way. It just came to me. I don't know if anybody watching this would remember a place called Central High School. My mother, who was born in 1935, Central High School. But man, this place is fantastic. And the rejuvenation is fantastic.
Now, very appropriately, they have named this. You can see the sign, Larry Doby Lane.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Larry Doby was the first Black American
Black
playing
American in the American
League.
African American in the American League. Jackie Robinson first in 1947. I think Doby broke in 1948 or 9.
Oh, so it was in the 40s. Okay.
Something like that. And Larry Doby was a Paterson native, and Larry Doby was a heck of a ball player. Cleveland Indians mostly.
So my last memory here was, I know they had concerts here. I know they had concerts here. They had Sly and the Family Stone here. But my last memory here was, I came with Lenny Casari to watch his cousin play, because he played for Passaic High School, and they were playing Kennedy, and they played here, and the place was packed.
Oh yeah. Well, the home games were here for Kennedy High School. When I played for Don Bosco Tech, we played here. We played in the American Legion here a couple of times. But when we played here, and I also went to a Philadelphia Philly closed tryout here.
Really?
It just came to me in 1978 or not. I think it was 78. A scout named Ben Marmo, Marmo, for the Philadelphia Phillies. They sent me a letter, and I came here for an open tryout. We mostly didn't even pick up a baseball. We sprinted, we ran the bases. At the very end, we did some hitting, but mostly it was agility skills and athleticism and that type of thing. We did it right here, but the ballpark was pretty dilapidated. They revitalized the whole place here.
Look at it now. There's a plaque here somewhere with the commemoration of this as another landmark.
I love the ticket window right there.
That's
Ticket window right there. Ticket window? That's something about that. Brings back some the way things used to be. Isn't it funny how the ballpark is right? I don't know. It's not set aside somewhere back from the main street.
so the listeners know where we are. We're heading back towards the falls this way.
The falls was maybe not even a quarter mile away.
Right. There's another ticket booth.
We wish we could get in, but we can't have everything. The ticket booth again. I'm dying to get in here.
You know, there may be a way to get in down there.
When you said about Hinchcliffe, I said we're going to go inside. That's what I was thinking.
Do you want to try down there?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Yo iría allá donde ustedes porque yo
Yeah, this is where the mayor was, because he called it something Debbie Park.
Oh, Debbie Park. So we missed the mayor by minutes.
But we'll see him at City Hall.
But we're going to see him soon. Mayor Saya. Ever think to run for mayor?
Never in a million years.
Just president.
Never.
By the way, this is the next day after our former president had another attempt made on his life. That was pretty frightening.
Amazing.
Suri out of that one too.
This may be open.
I think we can get in.
We just tell this guy what we're doing.
That's all it is. Sponsoring a fall. So I'm gonna come. I'm telling you, I'm gonna come. You know, but I want you to listen to Charles Jenkins. He's been good.
Oh, this is great. This is all we need to see. He's excited.
Set up for football right now. Hey, you know something? The plate, home plate was here,
Yeah, I could see that.
and the diamond is covered by the football, the yardage markers, and everything. But they really did a good job here.
And look at the view out that way to downtown Paterson.
And yet, is
So-
that tremendous?
Yeah, so you have the falls this way, downtown Paterson that way, and then all this new construction here.
This is a great ballpark. This really is. And again, the Negro Leagues. And let's not forget the great football games that were played here. And here's something for you. My father, in 1941, was playing football in this stadium, and somebody delivered his draft notice to him.
While he was playing?
Right during the game, right before I think the Japanese had just bombed Pearl Harbor in December, and my father was drafted. And for some reason, he got the notification right
Wow.
here where he was playing the football game. Of course, it wasn't a real organized kind of a thing. And my father was 24 years old at the time in 1941. How do you like that?
Wow.
It's a great, let's see and we have artificial turf surface. It's actually pretty good turf. Better than the ones, yeah, that's good turf.
You could see it set up for soccer too.
Yep.
So-
And the scoreboard is pretty impressive. The scoreboard, man. And that building here.
That's the museum.
That's the Hinchcliffe Museum right there. Now I'm happy I saw Hinchcliffe Stadium.
What's amazing, like you said, the renovation they did. It looks
and they have
great.
track meets here. You can see that. But it's just the atmosphere.
Well, they have a Rutgers
was just gonna
logo
tell
up
you
there.
I meant to say that.
Rutgers College of Pharmacy, class of 1983.
I know that doesn't stand for Romeo out there. It's
No.
got to be Rutgers. And Rutgers is, they come all the way from New Brunswick to play here.
I don't know.
I think maybe they played, maybe that's a movable sign.
I don't know.
Maybe they played someone here. I don't know.
It could be.
No one here has a football team. William Paterson has no football team.
No.
Are you impressed?
Really impressed, because when I saw this, it was gray and crumbling
It was really
and
bad.
looked very old.
It's like the Roman Colosseum at one time.
It's fantastic. I'm very impressed by the view
How
here.
about those buildings up there?
I don't know. They look like apartments, or maybe it's a school, but it has a big parking lot, so I don't know.
How about those buildings up there? What do you think? I don't know.
Look at the announcer's booth.
I don't know. I remember playing under the lights here, and the lights were terrible.
Well, they look pretty.
You'd lose the pop-up in the sky and everything, but now the lights are really nice. So, brand new, state-of-the-art. AI has a stranglehold Stadium.
You know, I'm wondering if the diamond is now set this way.
What do you think?
The baseball diamond, maybe they twisted it, because it almost looks like home plate would be there, right?
Yeah, it used to be there. Now it could be here.
Yeah, but that's too short of a shot, don't you think?
Well, no, it's here. It would be in the corner there. Yeah, no, let me think.
I mean, here makes sense, like you said.
No, that's never where it was. It was there.
The home plate was over there? Oh, I see.
And it was out
Oh, okay,
way.
that makes sense.
It was out this way. Yeah, that's what it used to
Great, what a beautiful day. It's amazing.
be. Perfect day.
Let me thank this guy. Thank you very much, sir. That was great. Thank you.
All right. We're a little late.
Somebody posted something on Facebook about a month ago, and it was like a announcement, a poster from like 1967, 68 of a concert here, and you couldn't believe the talent that was coming here to play.
Really?
It was unbelievable.
What are some names?
Sly and the Family Stone,
Wow.
a couple of other, sort of like soul R&B
Oh, really?
bands and artists.
The last thing I heard about Sly Stone, he was living in an RV, and he was doing all right for himself, but you couldn't recognize him.
Oh, he had great music, great band.
Fantastic. And the thing about this ballpark is that, or this, they call it a stadium, but like a ballpark, where it's got a homey feel, is that they had been trying to redo this place for years.
Right.
And for whatever reason, they never went through with the whole thing, but now I think you have a full running stadium.
Ralph, when you look this way and you look this way, you realize, and people don't realize it, how hilly Paterson is.
A lot of hills. San Francisco.
I mean, my street where I grew up was a very, very big hill on Richmond Ave.
Yep.
You go down towards past West Broadway, and that's very hilly there.
That's true.
Here as well,
Breakfast Avenue.
right? Oh yeah, going north.
Oh, yeah.
to towards Otilio's?
Oh yeah, that place.
Yes, I have.
Talk about, my gosh, they spent a fortune on that place. What's actually in there?
I don't know. I don't know. The funny thing is that I know a guy whose father was in the demolition business, and now the son runs the company. This is decades later, and we're talking about all this stuff. And I said, "Wait a minute, you're in demolition?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Do you know the name Otilio?" And he looks at me. He goes, "My father used to work with him."
My father did too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And my father was, he was very good friends with me, which was great.
Did you break in? No,
He was a
we have
security guy, and
was great.
he couldn't have been nicer.
Leon Moses, African American.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
He's the head of security.
Very
He
nice
was great.
guy.
He goes, let me call. He goes, go ahead in.
Yeah, he made the call.
Oh.
He got the
You could have
okay.
called me. I didn't want to bother you. That's all right. That's okay. I was there actually, it turns out. But were you impressed with Hinchcliffe?
Very
Amazing.
nice. Because I was there in 1979 last, and it was really in ruins. I mean, the place was just
Even then?
Yes.
Because they condemned it in 97.
In 79, it was a mess. I mean, it was just kind of like that it wasn't no
It was in
upkeep,
disrepair,
just
yeah.
disrepair.
Maintenance. They were like,
Yeah, but it has such an aura. But now it's beautiful.
thank
It's
you.
really
It's our legacy project.
very
And it's the
good.
real Field of Dreams. With all due respect to Iowa, that was a movie set, right?
This is the one.
This
one
is
here.
where 20 Hall of Famers played. And
That's right.
we're talking about people who played in the Negro Leagues because it's one of only 2 stadiums still standing in the country that hosted Negro League games. So when African Americans couldn't play with their white counterparts in Major League Baseball, they played in Paterson and one other place, Birmingham, Alabama, Rickwood Field. I've been to both.
2 places in the whole country.
And we
Isn't
actually
that
talked
something?
about it a little bit.
I said Josh Gibson. I said Johnny
Satchel
Briggs, but
Paige.
that's not the name. Satchel Paige. I mentioned.
Cool Papa Bell.
Cool Papa Bell. You know that name? Yeah.
Buck
Cool
Leonard played there,
Buck
too.
Leonard. Buck Leonard was the guy.
They're on my desk, by the way.
They did
I love the
they
Negro Leagues.
did
Those are bobbleheads.
they did the baseball documentary. Ken Burns.
Yes.
He narrated a great deal of that. He was fantastic. I know he passed
He
away.
did the Civil
passed
War
away
too,
since.
right?
Yeah, same guy.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the Buck. It's a
Buck O'Neill,
Buck
Leonard.
O'Neill. I keep thinking Buck Henry, the comedian. Buck O'Neill, yeah. But that has so much history. But the thing was back then, and I went to a tryout there too.
Hinchcliffe?
The Phillies held a tryout
For
in
Johnny Briggs?
1978. I was 17 years old. It was 77, and all they did was have a sprint and check. Is this guy fast enough? Because it was artificial turf era when
Veteran
everybody played
Stadium.
on there. So all I did the whole tryout for 2 hours was run. A guy named Ben Marmo, a Philadelphia Phillies Paterson native. Do you know the name? Ben
sounds
Marmo?
familiar.
Scout for the Phillies. He scouted me, and we went to that tryout, and that stadium was not great, but it had character, and a lot of great things went down there.
Did you make the Phillies?
You could feel it. It was a long story, but at that point in time, I didn't. Let's put it this way: I didn't sign anything that day.
Good for you. I wouldn't
No.
sign with the Phillies. They're the only team
They
in
beat
Major
the
League
Mets
Baseball.
last night, right?
And Saturday.
That's right.
I was telling somebody, whatever happened to a bullpen holding a 1-run lead? Get 6 outs the night before. Come on, get 9 outs.
The bullpen is so unpredictable from one year to the next.
I remember, I hate to use the Yankees as an example, but 96. And even when they beat us in 2000, they shut it down.
Oh, yeah.
Mariano.
You need 6 outs, not even just Mariano, like the bullpen, 9 outs, 6 outs, they got it.
Who's the other guy that was so great again?
John Wetland.
Wetland.
Yeah, Wetland was fantastic.
Yeah.
This guy wrote the greatest. He wrote this book. Came on my show a couple of times. I took the book. I said, "Let me check out Josh's book for 10 minutes." I read the whole thing, just about the whole thing. It was just, and it read just like you, the way you talk. That's what made it so great.
But anyway, so we
He's a
went,
storyteller, right?
Yeah.
You got to be a storyteller.
we went to the stadium. We went to the falls. That looked spectacular.
Did you see the river walk, the quarry lawn? So we unveiled that to the public. It's a $7.8 million.
We didn't know where to go to
Is it
get
open
down
yet?
there.
It's not open because the Environmental Protection Agency claims that beyond the fence at the Riverwalk / Quarry Lawn project, there's a smokestack that contains 2 tanks that supposedly have asbestos. It was an industrial site.
This is the smokestack you can see in the distance?
Yeah,
That's what we talked about.
That's right.
yeah, but there's it was just featured on all the major news outlets here about this river walk. He saw it. Tell him about it.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's about right along the river, about a half a mile.
Yeah.
Is that the video you sent?
Yeah, I sent them the
Yeah.
video. I think that was Channel 2, right?
CBS was the
Yeah, it
best
was on
because they got like
CBS, yeah.
drone footage. So what we envision in the future, people can spend more than just 20 minutes looking at the falls, taking pictures, posting it on social media. You can actually go down, have a picnic, or play volleyball or frisbee, whatever it may be, on that lawn. Or you can sit there as passive recreation, read a book, recite some poetry.
It's nice. We didn't see that.
No.
We kind of.
Well, you wouldn't have seen that because you're not allowed. EPA is now removing
It's
these
below
things.
where you guys were.
Okay.
Below, along the
Okay.
river.
Well, there were.
When you give me
there
your
was
number,
one or
I'll
two-
send him the link too that you got.
There were one or two people down there somehow.
Well, when they were here, there was like people from Portugal, so they were impressed that people from Portugal
Yeah.
came here. But yesterday, when I did the interview with News 12, it was a family from New Providence, and it was so good to hear because we want to promote what's positive about Paterson. We want to rewrite the narrative,
Sure.
right? We have a story to tell.
Sure.
So this family was like, we can't wait to have this open to public. We're going to bring everybody. It's pet friendly, and this is like our Niagara Falls.
I got to ask you. I graduated grammar school with a guy named James Saya.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's
I don't think we're related. Where'd you go to grammar school?
St. Gerard's
Patterson?
in Paterson.
There's a sign
I grew
right
up in
St.
Paterson.
Gerard's gave me that. The last
Where
Catholic
where you
school.
pointing?
You see that white where it says "Welcome to St.
Oh
Gerard's School"?
yes, I do.
That was one of the greatest days of my mayoralty because
Really?
we chose the school for a Three Kings Day celebration.
Hmm.
And we got gifts for every one of like the 130 students there. And then I guess it's a token of their appreciation. They gave me a poster that they created, not only thanking me, but also saying that it's January 6th, which is the Epiphany Day, is also the feast day for Saint Andre in Quebec.
Oh.
So I loved it and I framed it.
Uh-huh.
And I put it there so I could see it every day when I turn.
Well, we were the first class to go. The school was brand new, 1965. First class to go from kindergarten to eighth grade.
really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did you go to Kennedy?
No, Don Bosco Tech.
Oh, that makes sense.
No.
That's right. That's right.
That's where.
That makes a lot of
Josh and I
sense.
met.
I went to St. Brendan.
St. Brendan.
I went to Don Bosco Tech for 3 days. You know why?
That was enough.
Because I turned to my right, saw me, and then I turned to my left, saw him. And I'm like, I need
You saw
Girls.
all boys.
Yeah,
So
I
you
need
didn't
girls. I
I
need
know.
girls.
I know. I got talked into it by the baseball coach,
Oh,
Bob
really?
O'Brien. You know the name?
He sounds very familiar. Legendary. By the way, did you see this?
What are you pointing at?
A tree collapsed
Oh.
at a baseball game yesterday in Monmouth County, and nobody got hurt.
Oh,
Thankfully.
wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
Wow, terrible.
Well, speaking of News 12, they were supposed to come. I don't think they were ready.
They don't have the bandwidth. I spoke to them
Oh, that's
yesterday.
appreciate
I
that.
told Bobby. They said that they had somebody. She was doing like some feature. Like they're always called over.
No, that's fine. Thank
Sorry.
you.
We tried. We tried.
So we'll get them in the future. They have a program. It's called, and it airs on Thursdays. Road Trip Close to Home. So we'll bring them here because we want them to see the falls. We want them to see the stadium, the museum, the new quarry
That'd be
lawn.
great.
Yeah, we're working. There it is. That's it. Right? No, that's not it. That's the baseball field.
How'd the tree fall? Just suddenly fell?
I hope nobody was. Yeah, I'm not
Jeez.
sure. Somebody
Wow.
could have got really hurt right there.
No light, no lightning, no wind.
I guess that's the police chief.
Yeah.
So look. See? Whoa.
Ooh.
And there were people there. I think it was a
Oh, it
dugout.
was right by the bench.
Yeah.
Here, Mr. Mayor, we also went to Chauncey Street. That was, I hadn't been there in 50 years.
Different. It's like Peruvian now.
A block over, it's like the Peruvian Square or Peruvian
Yes.
Avenue of Peru or whatever it's called.
We've carved out ethnic enclaves to celebrate our multiculturalism. So you have Peru Square, Bangladesh Boulevard, Jamaica Way, Palestine Way, Dominican Republic Way,
Columbia.
Colombian Corridor. Very good.
No more Italians, though.
No Italians.
I named one
No, there was an
street
Italian
after
restaurant.
Which one?
The one right by the Peruvian, right? Didn't you point
Yes,
out an Italian restaurant?
Nona. La Nona.
That's right.
Oh yeah, but probably owned by.
Where I live, all the Italian restaurants are all owned by
Of course,
amazing.
of course. Even the one like there's one in Hawthorne that's famous. I was like, "Oh, you're Italian?" He's like, "No, I'm Albanian." I think it's called Ozzy's. What other questions do you have?
Well, the falls. Where does that rank in the country as a
a site.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Well, what I can tell you as far as like volume, it's the second largest east of the Mississippi. So it's Niagara and then us.
Volume of water?
Yes.
Really?
Like it's 77 feet high. So
Wow.
the other point is that as far as tourist destination is concerned, I can only give you the numbers of people that like what they track. So 300,000 visitors came to the falls. Now with all that we're doing with this new river walk, that's it right there. The quarry lawn, that's it right there. And then we're building, well, not we are, but a private developer is building a rooftop restaurant and a food hall. Then a restaurant style cafe is coming. So with all of these amenities, we should have in a few years.
Great.
And there's a visitor center we're building. It's named for the founder of Paterson, Alexander.
And then the Silk City legacy. How do you promote that these days?
That's interesting you say that. So now with the stadium, we also were able to lure a professional baseball team away from Little Falls. They used to play at Montclair State University, Yogi Berra Stadium. They're called the New Jersey Jackals. Now with their swag or their merch, it says Silk City. So they have shirts.
Wow.
Really?
They have hats. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
So in that regard, like with our baseball team, because that's Paterson's baseball team now. So they go by New Jersey Jackals, but very often they'll wear uniforms and wear hats that say Silk City.
This is close to my heart. The Little League, called Midget League, back in
they
my
may
day.
have changed the name.
Is it Little League, or do you participate?
It is
in
called
the
the Paterson Old Timers Youth Baseball League.
It used to be Old Time Midget League.
I played for the Midget
And
League.
Midget is kind of derogatory. I don't know why they took that out. But do you participate in the Little League World Series? And that,
Yes, and
You
it was
do
at
now.
Hinchcliffe Stadium, and I threw out the first pitch.
really?
Really?
Yeah.
The Little League?
Well, for us, our like little World Series, but not like the national one.
Yeah, the citywide one.
Yeah, I do the citywide one. It was
City
at Hinchcliffe Stadium.
championship.
Wow. And I'm just off the top of my head.
No, I got something
I'm
else.
prepared. Yeah.
We're at what we'd like. I talked about the Field of Dreams. We want that game here in Paterson at Hinchcliffe Stadium, like they did in Iowa. They just did one in Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama, between the Cardinals and the Giants. We would like for the Mets and Yankees to play because there were two teams in that era in the 40s that called Hinchcliffe Stadium home. Two Negro League teams, the New York Black Yankees and the New York Cubans. So what I envision is if we have that Major League Baseball Field of Dreams game in Paterson, the Yankees would play the Mets, they would don the New York Black Yankees uniforms, and the Mets would be the Cubans.
That would be amazing.
We'll see. They came on May 14th. I haven't heard anything since. I gave them a tour.
Those beautiful homes on the east side of Patterson, and some are just
Not far from my house.
gorgeous. And some aren't, they're not occupied, right? There are a few of them
There's
that
an
are just,
estate, the Barber Estate, and it's been fallow for a long time. And there are now a number of people who are interested, like maybe building a school or a private developer going in there and doing something like a hotel.
And I'm thinking also that this is one that, just don't take it the wrong way, is just something that's on my mind. Patterson, sometimes in some people's minds, Josh and I grew up here, we adore the place. It has certain negative connotations that you have to continuously, from my point of view, I always have to, I was born in Paterson, New Jersey, and it was the greatest place to ever grow up in the world. You know, when people end up with any derogatory things to say about Patterson, what's your response?
So as you can see, I try to promote what is positive about Paterson. We focus on the falls. The stadium was a major victory for us. I always say, when we cut the ribbon on May 19, 2023 for the rebirth of Hinchcliffe Stadium, I said, this puts Paterson back in the win column, for sure. And there are plenty of stories that need to be told. So I consider myself the cheerleader in chief. I always have my Paterson pom-poms. And I think I'm the city's number one story. It's the Silk City storyteller. So those are some of the stories I like to tell. One, we started 6 years ago. There were 1,200 abandoned properties. Now there's fewer than 200, so 80% reduction in abandoned properties. These are not only eyesores, but they're crime magnets. Also in 6 years, we've invested $116 million in improving our parks, playgrounds, and pools. And when I campaigned in 2018 for the third time, because I'd lost the first 2 times I ran for mayor, I said, I'm going to hire a grant writer. We never had one. Now we have $115 million in grants. They get a lot of help.
Wow.
You know, we were averaging like $10 million a year for 5 years. This year, we got $84 million in grants.
Beautiful.
Surpasses everything combined, and now we're at 115. I'm working on my State of the City address. You guys should come. It's on September 26th at the Great Falls.
Really?
At 11 a.m. That's in there. That's why it's fresh on my head as far as like what we're doing. But you know, I'll tell you, of course, it's definitely not like a bed of roses, right? Paterson, it's not paradise. And we have our challenges. So while I was waiting for you guys, I was downstairs. This woman came in and she's like, "Where's Real Fix?" So I don't know if you know about this. Michael Bloomberg is very invested in Paterson. He is. He's paying for a woman who just graduated from Harvard with her master's from the Kennedy School of Government. He's paying her for 2 years to come here and help us improve processes. Wow. So now her project is to get us from being Paterson paper-based to paperless. I just introduced, I'm going to call him R.A. Dickey, Bobby, to our new data analyst, and we were able to pry her away from Jersey City. She wanted to come work for Paterson. So data drives a lot of our decision making. Michael Bloomberg also led to the fact that a private foundation, because let me go back to 2018. Michael Bloomberg has something known as the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative. He chooses 40 mayors from around the world and trains them for 1 year. So 2017 was his inaugural cohort, and one of the first mayors in the 40 was Peter Buttigieg. I'm sure you heard of him, right? Ran for president. He was the mayor of South Bend. Now he's the Secretary of Transportation. I was in the second cohort from Paterson, but you had like the mayor of Miami, Atlanta, Seattle, then mayors from like every continent and us. So after I graduated from this initiative, because there's no real like training on how to be a mayor, there's no manual on how to be a mayor. A foundation asked me, "What did you get out of it?" I said, "Well, Syracuse was in it too, and Albany was in the class too, and they're smaller than Paterson, believe it or not. Capital of New York." I said, "And they had a chief innovation officer and a chief data officer. Why would you want that?" I said, "Because we got to think differently. We got to do things differently. You can't just keep doing the same thing and expect different results in Paterson." So they actually, the private foundation, the town foundation, they paid for a chief innovation officer's salary over $100,000, and they paid for a chief data officer's salary. Like, when does that happen? A philanthropic organization pays for municipal government salaries?
Rare.
So the chief data officer helped us during the pandemic because he had a daily dashboard. We track metrics to save people's lives: hospitalization rate, vaccination rate, death rate, right, in the hospitals. And based on that, we made the decisions to open or close non-essential business. That was the chief data officer. What did the chief innovation officer do? So he said, "Oh, Michael Bloomberg has a global mayor's challenge." Okay, what's that? Bloomberg said, "If your city comes up with an innovative idea to address a long-standing challenge only exacerbated by the pandemic, he'll give the city $1 million. But you got to win." So 631 cities responded to the challenge. He only chose 15. Paterson was one of the 15. Our challenge is drug addiction, opioid use disorder on their streets. So what we said was, like, whatever that individual is addicted to, whether it's fentanyl or heroin, that's a fake fix. Whenever we have to revive the person after overdosing with Narcan, that's a quick fix. But what's the real fix? Like, how do we stop the cycle? Yes. So this is all on data, statistically proven. It's called Suboxone, medication-assisted treatment. So we created Real Fix. It's a hotline. So we piloted it with 5 known drug users. And we said, okay, you call 833 Real Fix, and a doctor will take the call and prescribe the Suboxone, and we'll deliver it to you in 90 minutes. When we piloted it, we did it in 76 minutes. So we under-promised and overperformed. So we got it to them in that time, and then we connect them to a counselor. You know, we've gotten 416 in a year, 416 people to treatment as a result of Real Fix. So when that woman came in, I was waiting for you guys, and she said, "Where's Real Fix?" That made me happy because now people know. Yeah. And whenever I see a panhandler on the street, I'm like, 125 Ellison, Real Fix. Now they know, and they meet with Ed. Ed is he's the chief innovation officer. That is, in addition to $1 million, he gave us that.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It came in a box that said "Fragile." Never seen Christmas story.
That's a great story.
It is a true story, right there.
You know, I'm a pharmacist, so we've.
That's right.
I've always, had some interest in what to do, and I was on the board of health in Westfield. I don't know if I told you that.
No.
And that was one of the things I was trying to light on, because even Westfield, an affluent town, had its problems.
Yeah.
Deaths and all these and things.
Oh, you have money to buy it. I went to DePaul High School.
That's right.
Hey, what, DePaul?
And we had a drug situation there too.
It's always been around. I mean,
Yes.
Nothing new.
You know, people succumb to their demons. And people say, like, you'll see some home. And by the way, I forgot to mention, of that population, a lot of them are homeless. We've gotten 30% housing, permanent housing, as a result of Real Fix. Hold on, I'm trying to see if, my cabinet meeting starts in like maybe 10 minutes.
Don't let us hold
No,
you.
you can meet. the real fix.
Oh, great.
The genius behind it. I'm the guy that just takes the credit. Well, I approved like what he wanted to do.
I'm thinking about St. Joe's Hospital. Has such a great reputation, heart, cardiovascular. People would come far and wide to go to St. Joe's. How are they keeping up? Are they innovative as ever?
They have a new president right now, and so he and I are trying to align his vision, my vision. A lot of my vision is more development, right? Because they do have properties they want to sell. And I feel like it's time that Paterson, a city our size, has a hotel. I think it makes a lot of sense to have multiple hotels. The first one there, because if, let's say, for instance, families have to stay overnight for a loved one, they are going to hotels and they get vouchers from the hospital, but they're staying in where, Totowa? They're staying in Wayne, Fairlawn, Paramus, wherever it may be. And we miss out on the revenue and the jobs, because it could be an employment opportunity for Paterson residents. And there's a bed tax, so you could be generating some revenue too. So I'm trying to get the hotel to support get the hospital to support a hotel.
And small business owners are doing well?
So I will tell you that the crown jewel of the city, as far as commercial corridor is concerned, is South Paterson. They're doing very well. It is not only a desirable destination, it's a delicious destination. Because some of our best Middle Eastern food,
Some serious restaurants.
serious and Syrian and Palestinian and Lebanese and Turkish. It's outstanding. When we did Restaurant Week, they were prominently featured. We have global brands that are moving into that section. Meat Moo, it's a smoked meat shop, and they're in 18 countries now. They're in Paterson.
How would you feel about doing a monthly, I'm just choosing monthly, appearance on my show just for an update every
How
month?
long would you need?
Just I'm thinking, we get you on for about 15 minutes on, we'll get a specific day where we can agree on.
Thank you, I'm honored.
Yeah.
Do I come to you or do we?
No, we just we could do it on, the best way to do it is on Zoom.
Fine.
Can we do that?
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right.
And it works perfectly. We've done that with two of
Yeah,
us. Two or three times.
it's like being in the same room.
What's your audience like?
60-40 male. The demographic, it's kind of like, I would say 40 years old to 70, 75, mainly. I'm not saying there are no young people or no older people, but right there. That's pretty much what the demographics are. And it's a big audience. And
How big?
well, I'd say about 300,000, 350 listen.
But not from Pat. Well,
No, all over the place. But mostly in this area, but the metropolitan area.
Okay.
And I was going to say something about the whole thing is that you can just give, because things are always changing. You can give me a nice update, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about. I'm very flexible.
Thank you.
And off the cuff like this, like very nonchalant. It's a good way to be.
Informal.
I don't have a list of questions.
Well, I'm also going to give you. We have a newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you guys the newsletter. Did I give it to you? Or
No,
no? Or even newsletter. We have a new edition coming up. I just approved it. So a lot of what we're doing is going to be focused on the parks and playgrounds, real fix, and then road resurfacing. River Street. Some of your listeners, viewers, they're gonna.
We did a great thing with Buckley Park in the because that was when I walked to Buckley Park every day to play basketball. You fixed up the courts a little bit. The field is gorgeous. It's a beautiful
playground.
And you did the playground.
And the court is named for a WNBA champion from Paterson.
Who's that?
Essence Carson. She played for the LA Sparks. She
Wow.
got drafted by the New York Liberty. But you may know her, Don Imus.
Oh,
2006 offended the Rutgers basketball
Rutgers,
team.
Oh, that was it? That was her?
on it.
The nappy.
I think
She was on that nappy head. We won't say the word.
Nappy.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's her.
Wow.
I think she was the captain of the team.
Yeah,
Wow.
and they were good down there.
In fact, I'll show you my Paterson Wall of Fame.
Yeah. That's I've run the whole thing. I mean,
If you don't mind, I'll take your information real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Let me just.
Ralph moved back into Patterson.
Yeah, now I'm back in Paterson. I went and did a 360 run Princess Avenue.
Just about a second.
I
You're
grew
a
up on
Pattersonian?
I grew up in Paterson.
You and your wife?
Cindy's from Maine.
You're from Maine?
She stalked me on Facebook, and that's how we
Whoa.
got married. She did a number on me, and we got married. And but
Nevada.
I was born the second house in 364 Pregness Avenue, right on Chamberlain, and that house was owned by my grandmother. And now we live right up the block. So
Is your last name Piccolo?
Romeo,
Romeo. Sorry,
like Juliet,
because Ralph Piccolo was.
the pizza guy.
place.
So wait, are
He
you
lived there?
Romeo?
Romeo.
There's another.
There's a few Romeos that may
There's
not
another
be
good
really
Italian American I know. His name's Flavio Romeo.
I don't know
He
who
does
that
the
is.
town cast in Hawthorne.
I wish I could say that was somebody I knew. I don't know. But I had a police officer, Joe Romeo, that was a distant relation. My father was Angelo Romeo. He's passed
that
away
name, so
many
I'm
years.
sorry.
But that's it goes back.
When did he die?
87. But that was
Oh.
my father. But I grew up on Pregnance Avenue right there, that second house, a beautiful house, 364 Pregnance.
And are you there now?
No, now we're up the block, but we ended up the block. Ironically, that's the same street I grew up on. That was the
Who says you can't go home?
irony we did.
Wait, Dickie, he didn't buy One Eye on Paterson.
I didn't buy anything.
No,
I'm
he's
in the
right
apartment.
The apartments.
I'm in the
You know
apartment.
the apartments on the left?
463.
No, I only asked because
Did you remember that guy?
Oh,
One Eye
yeah.
on
What's that?
Paterson.
What's
He's on
He
the
used
corner.
to One Eye in Patterson. He was
One Eye on Patterson.
Yeah,
Used
yeah.
to drive around.
drive that yellow
Yes.
was it a Cadillac?
Do you remember this guy? There used to be a guy called the Goat Man. They used to come down Pregnance Avenue, right? And Pregnance Avenue was always busy. You had a ton of cars no matter when. And he'd come down with 3 goats, and we'd run out. This is before the man.
oh, there it is, guys.
Ah,
Oh my God, there it is. That's the project. Wow,
that's a
ironic.
beautiful
That
thing.
was shot today?
Yesterday.
Yeah,
See the ruins.
We have some great footage down there ourselves.
You got. I mean, I can let you in. It's just.
Yeah, next time I think
Yeah.
we'd
That's
love
it. The
to.
river walk at the Great Falls, right, Dickie?
That's great.
That's
and
where
the
we did-
pedestrian
we
bridge is going to be
didn't-
named
we
after
didn't get to
Congressman
that.
Bill Pasquale, right? Hey, see, even on that bottom, we did work. I was going to say, how ironic. Wait, Ralph Romeo.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Ralph
I
Romeo.
have an affinity for alliteration.
Yeah, the Italiano
Name's
Raffaele Romeo, but Ralph
Whoa,
Raffaele
Romeo and Juliet.
But now I'm back where I belong in
I
Paterson.
like that, man. I love that. Back where I belong.
He parked his car in front of my father's house today
He did.
Yeah,
on Richmond Avenue.
we had to get the ordinance. I couldn't keep it outside. I had to move it. So there
Oh,
was no
They
spaces.
say that.
They're doing some construction around our house.
We're going to be resurfacing like 30 streets.
Oh, really?
Here, I texted you right now.
Oh, okay. I know.
Guys, 1 second. I just got to take this call. It's about a guy. Hold on.
Because
No,
you
no,
have
it's
things
fun.
to do.
I'm having fun
gonna
over
be
here.
fun. Yeah, me
Just
too.
sure, hold on.
Me too. And I'm glad you realize I'm a Patterson guy.
I love it. You're a
Through and through.
Pattersonian.
That's right. That's right.
Were you ever in the mayor's office?
No. No.
I'm honored. It's the first time
it's,
for everything.
It's great being here. It really is. And I love. Don't you love that painting? It's really pretty.
I got to show you my wall of fame. By the way, that above the television, those are my children. That's my wife and children. But that was taken many years ago. They're a little bit older now. The one on the far left, her name is Sophia Shea for Shea Stadium.
Oh.
Big Mets fan.
Is that how she got her name? Oh wow.
And then her sister is right there next to the mom. Her name's Kayla Grace. And then the boy who's on the desk, his name is Aiden Kennedy, because I love John F. Kennedy.
What's the first
That's
Mets
nice.
team that you remember?
83.
83.
Director, I just got a call.
They were bad in '83.
83. They were. I'm trying to think of the team.
Ron Gardenhire.
Gardenhire, manager.
I think it was George
Buddy
Bamberger.
Harrelson?
George
Buddy-
Bamberger?
But around that, yes.
Oh,
No, when he
Bamberger?
was like 90s.
Yeah, my first team was 69.
Me too. I was
You
about
mean-
68.
You mean when they beat the Orioles, my team?
Yeah.
When they
Hey,
killed the
your
Orioles.
Orioles choked, man. What the hell? They were going to be.
I don't know what's going on.
They're like 3 games behind the Yankees.
I do know what's going on. Their pitching stinks. But
Remember
Was
the
that
four,
what
they
remember the
were
4 pitchers they had back then?
Yeah.
Back then,
McAnally,
no, he's talking about
Cuellar,
You got
Palmer.
it.
Palmer.
That's it. And
those
Dobson.
are the four.
Dobson, yeah.
Those are the 420 game winners.
420
Powell
game.
at first.
Where would you get 420 game winners?
They'll never have
Not anymore.
Never.
Never.
You might not even get
10.
15 game winners.
10.
Maybe 10.
Tim Thomas is another Paterson native from the New York Knicks. I forgot about
There's
him.
somebody in our era,
Rory Sparrow.
Rory Sparrow.
He's there.
Yep, right there.
You want me to show you? Come on, let me show you real quick.
That's your head.
He was the mayor of Stockton, California. This is Atlanta. She was Seattle, so it's there. So everyone has a connection to Patterson here. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was preaching in Patterson 1 week before he was assassinated. So he was at his governor in Auburn. It was the Community Baptist Church of Love. That's where originally was located. He was actually recruiting Patersonians for his second march on Washington. It's called the People's Campaign. So the president, he signed legislation designating the Great Falls a national park. We've had a champion. So we have a champion in every sport. There's Costello, Abbott Costello, but we had Kendall Holt. He was a welterweight champion in boxing. Essence Carson won the WNBA championship with the LA Sparks. We're talking about that. Victor Cruz won a Super Bowl with the Giants.
Cruz, Paterson, forgot about that.
Larry Doby integrated the American League on July 5th, 1947.
Of course.
We have a soccer champion, Haitian American. His name is Derek Etienne. He won the MLS championship. And that's the gentleman I want you to meet right there.
How are you?
This is our Chief Innovation Officer from WPAT. That's the gentleman. That's our Chief Innovation Officer. You know what I told them? I was waiting downstairs, and a woman was coming to City Hall. She goes, "Is this where Real Fix is?" So now I know where your real impact. Well, I know.
It's a really impressive place, actually. Then I get to open for you.
It's beautiful.
Hi.
He said hi.
Is Albert here? Yes. Okay. Just, I spoke with him and told him we were coming.
Beautiful.
Yeah, somebody used to
Here we go, Brownstone. And this place has some reputation. This is known as the greatest banquet hall in the Northeast. I just made that up, but it seems to be gorgeous enough to say that. Look at this place. It is spectacular. What do you think, Josh?
Well, I can't tell you how many times I've been here for everything you can imagine. Sports, award dinners, repasts, school reunions, everything you can imagine. I mean, this is basically the go-to place in Paterson for any sort of a banquet or a feast requirements, you know, large crowds. They do a great job, food, drink, service. We had my mom's repast here 2.5 years ago, and they're just great. They've been here forever.
And the guy that owns this place is a guy that I went to school with 50 years ago. If he walks out of that door and he comes in and shakes my hand, it'll be the first time I see Al Manzo in 50 years. We had some correspondence on social media, but that's really about it. And the Manzos were fantastic because they had a swimming pool. And it was always good to know the Manzos because they had I don't know of any other people in Paterson that had a built-in swimming pool. But I'm kidding. But it was true, but that's not really the reason. But what a wonderful place. And how's the food here? Because sometimes the place is spectacular, the food not so much, but the food is great.
The food is great. Every meal I've ever had here has been a great meal.
Wow.
And like I said, the service is great. They're good about everything.
Wow. Unbelievable. Just, why don't you pan around, sweetie? Did you get everything down here? Maybe we should walk a little bit.
If you want to go outside, we can do that too.
Look at how beautiful it is. This is where all the sports dinners, like you said, all these wonderful events always held here. Here's the dining. Look at this area.
Let's play the piano if you'd like.
Here we can do everything. Oh, nice. This is one of our destinations we had in mind. We wanted to come here. This is our last stop today, but it's worth it.
I honestly, everybody that I know that lives in Paterson or lived in Paterson and wanted to have some sort of a function had it here, without exception.
When did this come into being?
I don't know.
That's another question. I always want to know the origin of these places, but I'm thinking, what year did Mr. Manzo buy this thing? Because I don't remember. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Great Thank you. Good to see you over here.
Okay.